Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe football show. No intro to subject you to tonight. I still get complaints about that screen, but we're not subjecting it to you tonight because we're a little bit late because we were having a nice old little chinwag there. Listen, before we get into the video, smash a like, get your comments in because we're going to be chatting about them. And, of course, hit the notification bell. And I'm going to plead one more time. Well, I say one more time. I'll keep pleading until I get to 20K. But we're getting so close now. About 700 and odd away from 20K. Hopefully, we'll get it by the end of May. That's the plan, to get it behind the end of May. And I imagine we will, because tomorrow I'm on all day. It's Manic Monday, innit? And it's, I guess my Saturday's performance against City will all be in vain if Leicester win, if Forest win, and Everton win. So I'm just hoping tomorrow, Monday goes our way for once. Theo says, top tier lineup this. Yes, it is. It always is on the final word, whoever makes it, but the regulars are here, apart from Max, who picks and chooses. But yeah, I'm only joking. Listen, the links to everyone's channels in the description. We'll go around the houses and then we'll chat about a few little bits. I've got something I want to share, and I'm sure others will throw stuff in the mix as well. But Kate, what's your overriding emotion after yesterday's 2-1 defeat to Manchester City?
Well, I kind of looked at it from the point of view that, better teams than us have got thrashed by City recently, including Arsenal, and by Munich, etc., etc.
Yeah.
We've been beaten sort of 4, 5, 6 recently, and quite frankly, yes, there's still loads to do, and I'm not even pretending that will keep us up. But it was actually good to go and see a positive, or to watch a positive performance that was more organised. A kind of cohesive team, Sam, Carl, and Robbie, and the players, and especially at the end when they applauded and all that. I just thought all round, there was stupid errors, and we could pick out various people, but on the whole, it was 100% better, and I was really encouraged by it, because do you know what? If we go down fighting, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And a lot of people, Luke, I'll come to you now, but a lot of people came in my comments, a lot of them City fans, but a lot of them say going down fighting. And I guess there's that mix up between is fighting having a go or is fighting defending for your lives kind of vibe that we did. But I felt similarly to Kate. We went down fighting, we had City time wasting at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it could have gone a lot worse, like, couldn't it? It's one of them, and just to use your quote, they're to go down fighting. I wish we'd have seen that fight sort of in the last couple of months or so, because I feel
we won't be where we are now, would we?
No, I don't think we would, and I think obviously the fans played a massive part of the week, and all you could hear on telly was the fans, and to get them back on side could be massive for us going forward. And I just felt it could have gone a lot worse. Look, I had very similar people mentioning me. In the main, actually, it was Newcastle fans and Spurs fans and other clubs that we don't really have a care for, but like saying that was such a bad take that. That there's positives to take out the game. And I was like, actually, you know what? If you were a Leeds fan, you would probably appreciate the positives that were there to be taken out of it. Look at the recent results, look at recent performances, and they've been very stagnant. And look, we expected to defend for 90 minutes on Saturday, but we also expected probably. I mean, we spoke about it on here. Before Gracchi was sacked, we expected maybe 7 or 8 based on recent performances. I think we leveled out at probably 4 or 5 under Sam because he'd just come in. He'd only had 3 days. Look, to take 2-1 away from there. Look, I'm never gonna sort of be happy and confident of losing a game. But if you were to lose a game 2-1 against arguably the best team in world football at the moment in the world, probably, then look, no disgrace there whatsoever.
100% agree with you. And Joe, I kept mentioning this a lot. Like, that's the first time since March that City have scored less than 3 at home. You know what I mean? And the time before that, it was a 2-0 win over Newcastle, and they're no mugs, are they? You know what I mean? So they're free flowing. They're an unreal football side. I think it was a lot of credit to us as well the fact that Pep couldn't make the changes. He wanted to bring 5 off like he did against Leicester, but he wasn't able to. He had to keep Haaland on. He had to keep De Bruyne on, and that might cause them issue. I don't think it will, but in an ideal scenario, you know, he makes changes. He doesn't have to bring on Rodri, for example. That shows just how, you know, well we did, I think, personally.
Yeah, I think he learned his lesson against Leicester. He made those changes very early, and Leicester got back into the game, and they kind of played this second half at snail's pace, where I don't think, watching how they played against us, at no point in that game did I feel like they were going through the motions. I thought they were trying to win the game. And we got to be honest, we rode our luck for a huge amount of time in the first half, but you have to. That's where we are in the league, and that's where, and every team that goes there has to ride their luck. And I've seen a lot of people saying, you know, well, they created loads of chances and they hit the crossbar, and without those chances, they would have killed us. It's like, yeah, but we missed chances as well. You know, McKennie should have scored a header, should have scored.
Yeah.
In the first half. So every team in every game misses chances, sorry. So, you know, they missed their chances against us. It wasn't that they were trying to miss them. We either made it uncomfortable for them to take their shots. I mean, there was the one at the first half where Haaland hit just wide. And if you look at it, you know, Christensen does enough to put enough pressure on him to force him that way. So you could look at him at one side of it and go, well, we actually defended quite well at times. And we got a bit lucky with the crossbar at times as well. But when we got our chance, we took it, you know. So there's a lot of positives to take from it. And what I would say more than anything, not from a fan's perspective, but if you're a player in that dressing room, that is a hugely positive result for you. That you've gone and you've proved to everybody that you're not just dialing it in, that you haven't thrown the towel, and that you've got a bit of fight left in you. And I think a lot of bridges were mended at the end as well with them going 100%. Over to the fans. And they were kind of a little bit sheepish going over to the fans, which is understandable after last week. But as Luke's already said, the away crowd was so good. So good at the weekend. I mean, Man City scored their second, and all you could hear was marching on together. Like that's crazy. So, you know, it's good to see those things. There were, you know, some players had good games, some players had bad games. I'm sure we'll get into that. But overall, relieved coming away without a thumping. Happy that the goal difference is only -1 extra on the back of that result, which is great. Yeah. So it was a huge. The goal going into that was keep the goal difference down. That was the goal.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the thing, right? Listen, I sample a lot of content. I listen to a lot of people and I read Twitter. And it wasn't enough. You know, those that have already set the stall out and said Big Sam's no good and we're going down and all that sort of stuff. It was, we're going to get slapped 6 and 7s. And then when we don't, it's still not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit like, for me, I'm thinking, can he win? Can we win? You know, Max, I think Joe made a fantastic point. Week ago, you're not fit to wear the shirt. This week, you've seen the fans, you know, when they do, you look in the eyes of the players and you're going, head up, come on, yes, we could do this. And it was a definite switch up. And I think Big Sam, you can hear him, you know, I'm going to get on Big Sam. I'll get on to him because I've got loads to say. But I think you could hear in his post-match press area, he was saying, you know, we want to give them something. And I think, you know, him, Robbo, even at the start with the defence, I just feel like it was... You know, Kate spoke about Grazia for time about being a little bit like, you know, could he motivate? You seen with that core group and the fans at the end that actually there is fight in the dog yet.
You were saying that is fight going and attacking a game or defending a game, and it definitely can be both. When I played football, I was a defender, so I love seeing a stout defensive performance, trying to keep them out. And
were you a Christensen celebrating every tackle you make?
Well, I was amazed that Christensen started as a centre back, to be honest. But to a certain extent, it worked. He's probably one of our more physical defenders, and he will put his body in a little bit. But yeah, going into the game, I did my video about it, about Big Sam coming in. And I did say I still think we're going down because I don't think it's enough. And I don't even think that's his fault. I think that's because our players aren't good enough. I think
we're not going down, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yes. But so when you said people expecting us still to get pumped, though, by City, I was it's not a free hit because there is no free hits. And especially in a relegation battle, there's no such thing. But I expected us to lose anyway. I wasn't expecting Big Sam to manage to get a win out of that game. So you can't put any of that at his doorstep. And if we do go down, none of it goes to his doorstep anyway. He's had 4 games. But yeah, I think we were a lot better. I think Robles was excellent. Some of the saves that he made, spreading himself, and it's just little things that I noticed. You know, when Mahrez tried to take that free kick low along the ground and it came to his front, I think Meslier lets that in. You know,
I know what you mean,
because I just don't think he's switched on and alive enough, and he's not enough of a journeyman to go, do you know what, you might try something here, or you see a guy like, and he was just down, pick it up, easy as you like, and I was like, oh, do you know what, I trust him with this, and he came out for crosses and punched stuff, and I was like,
actually caught crosses,
caught
the ball and just.
The one time he dropped something was when Christensen. I said on my stream, I said either Robles hasn't shouted and has clashed through Christensen, so he's an idiot, or Christensen hasn't. Or has heard the shout and not moved out of the way, so he's an idiot. So either way, one of them's an idiot. But other than that, I thought that Robles was really good, and I've been a big fan of Meslier, but I think he needed a break. We talked about how real players needing a bit of time,
and still does until the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
I think there's too much pressure on his shoulders for such a young goalkeeper, and I think Robles, he's been here before with Wigan, he's been here before with Everton, and he was really good. And the best thing about it that I noticed before the game, he was the one giving the team talk on the pitch.
Yes,
he had everybody huddled around him. He talked about needing leaders, and I follow him on all his socials, and he's always so enthusiastic. He's putting stuff on about training. Great training session today, showing some of his saves and stuff, and he's buzzing for it. And I'm happy for him that he got to start, and he did really, really well.
You said, we'll chat about Robles now. Obviously, I seen at the end as well. Big Sam had his arm round him, and you could see he was getting into him as if to say, like my faith in you's been repaid. I know. Let's not be revisionistic. Like Meslier a good goalkeeper, but like his head was all over the shop, and he needed to be taken out. Look, if we go down, that'll probably be the last time we'll see him, Meslier, and I don't want it to go down like this, because I'm a massive fan of his, and he did big things for us, Meslier, getting us promoted, etc., part of that squad, and for such a young goalkeeper, he's done well here. But Luke, I'll come to you. Like, how big of a call? Obviously, a lot's been made about it. It's a big call from Big Sam to come in, because if it goes wrong, then you're on a hide into nothing straight away. So for him to come in and make that change, and like Max says, Robles just looks so assured for me.
Yeah, look, the old saying goes, I think form's temporary, class is permanent. There's no doubt that he is a good goalkeeper and will go on to achieve massive things, I believe. Meslier, sorry, I'm talking about here. But look, when the chips are down and he's a young lad, it was the right move to make back from Big Sam. And I respect him massively for doing it. He came out and said in his after the match comments that when he told Ilian that he was upset, and as a young kid would, he's been number one at the club all season, and to drop him at such a vital point of the season where Meslier probably thinks he's the better goalkeeper, or certainly thinks he's got the higher ceiling or whatever. It's not always about being the better goalkeeper at the time. It's about having that confidence to actually go into a game and actually be able to do everything that you're going to say you're going to be able to do. Meslier hasn't been doing that, so completely respect Big Sam for that. And but in terms of how difficult a decision, that's arguably probably the biggest decision he had to make this weekend.
Yeah.
And it did pay off. It
that's
was
the thing, isn't it? Yeah, and I think that's an important thing as well, because I've listened to a lot of Big Sam this week. I did. With Grazia and all. Yeah, there is a lot out there, trust me. That I even found myself watching the Tippy Tappy pod with Simon Grayson and Tim Sherwood. I was like, what am I turning into here? But yeah, a lot's been made, like Luke said, he's got that big decision right. And I think when you're playing a certain style, if it's getting results, and I know we didn't get a result, but the players will go home that evening, I'd imagine anyway, Joe, thinking, you know what? We didn't get spanked. It was respectable. The fans were loving it. So again, it just helps them buy into Big Sam that little bit more going into Newcastle, because we've seen an improved performance. We've seen less goals conceded. We've seen the fans cheering him, and he's made a decision on Robles. Some of them might be close to Meslier going, that's wild, but it paid off, so it just helps further foolproof Big Sam and helps them buy into him for next Saturday against Newcastle, right?
There's some interesting things around Big Sam that I more so around the game. I mean, there was a lot of talk, and he says a lot of stuff. In a lot of different places, and some of it at times I think is bravado, and some of it I think is him just bigging himself up. And I get it, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and it was going to come down to what decisions he made on the game day, and he made some massive calls. He made some massive calls. I mean, starting the game with one recognised centre back was against Manchester City's a bold call on its own. Robles as well, and as Luke's already said, Medford Melier was fuming about it as well, is an interesting thing, but he made that call as well. Weston McKennie on long throws. Where the hell has that been? Where's that been all year? Why are we only finding out about this now?
That is some weapon.
How
it could go miles.
I've seen him do those when he's played for on international duty. I mean, he played yesterday more like he does on international duty, I think. And he's obviously gone to Sam and told him.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he said that was another really good thing. Really good point, Kate. Actually, that was another thing that he said, that he sat down with the players and he asked them, who plays well where do you play? What's your favorite position? What do you think is wrong? And he said he put that with the coaches stuff, and then the coaches obviously said to him that we're really weak in the middle of the park as well. So he brings Forshaw in, which is again a bold move to start. But pushing McKennie higher up the pitch worked. He was very good. I thought he was very good.
Yeah, same. I agree.
That long throw is a weapon, and especially the way Sam's going to play between now and the end of the season, that has to be used. Like, I know people were annoyed last year seeing Rafinha taking throw-ins. It was like, yeah, but if you've got a long throw and he's a winger and his job is to cross the ball anyway.
The American Rory Delap.
Yeah. But this is the thing, though, isn't it? Rafinha's long throws were not long throws. That there from McKennie,
that was a missile.
Yeah, it was a missile.
The first one he did was like, so usually it's like from right next to the box. If the box is here, then the touchline's here, and he throws it in from there. But this was like way back, and it was like a diagonal ball into the box. I literally went, "Oh my god, I didn't know he could do that. Why have we not? Why have I never seen that before?"
There's a wind up that people do that have a long throw, where they kind of do this twisty thing where they kind of have the ball here and they run, and then they kind of bring it around the back of the head and throw it. And the second I saw him kind of doing that, I was like, "Where? What is he? Oh, hello." Right, that kind of makes sense.
He played all the American sports as a kid. And
Sam knew, though, didn't he? Because the first one we had, Luke Ayling had it. And then Big Sam was going, Where's? And then all of a sudden, like you said, I was like, what's going on? I got that hyped that I started to go, why hasn't Jesse used it? He loves all that stuff. Nobody used it. No, but then everyone kept reminding me and going, Joey paid 33 minutes under Jesse. And I was like, all right, okay. That's me just ready to pile on Jesse.
But there was lots of other things with it as well. It wasn't just that. I mean, there was comments. I watched him when the clips went to him on the sideline. And there was one free kick in the first half. The rockets up.
Yeah.
And he just him going, waste.
Yes.
And he's screaming onto the pitch of them, waste.
Fucking waste.
Screaming at one of the fullbacks at one point. And I mean, he looked pissed, but I was like, yeah, good. They need that. Yeah. This is what we need.
Because he's thinking we're only going to get a few chances to get the ball into the final third in this game.
Yeah.
And much less so it's going to be free kicks where you've got a dead ball where you can put it deep into the box and hope for a lucky bounce, a knockdown. Second balls is all about second balls. And you waste that opportunity it's lazy. A professional footballer can put that somewhere in the box. That is a loss of concentration. Like, it's just thinking what's going to happen next. He's not thinking about actually striking the ball, and he's hit it into that's inexcusable. How can you hit it into touch from there? Like, I could deliver a better ball than that.
I think he's learned a lot again about that midfield, and I don't think it's like Groundhog Day saying it. He'll learn an awful lot from that performance, but at the same time, I think he'll make changes based on that performance. I mean, I agree at halftime about Pat Bamford. I'm like, I get that we're sitting deep.
Don't even get me started on him.
Yeah, I'm right. Come here. I was like, I get it. I get that we have to sit deep, but is he going to run at any point in the game? Is he going to drop into midfield and help out? Is he going to press one of the centre backs? Is he going to come short for the ball? Is because he just seems to be standing in one spot while everybody else is running around the place.
Can we chat about
more control at all? Yeah, that's
let's chat about Bamford. The reason I say this is right. I don't know at this point if I'm absolutely blinkered. If I'm absolutely blinkered by Bamford, because I still praise him. I still say he did all right. Everyone was asking for Rodrigo, and of course, Rodrigo scores the goal, and everyone goes, I told you so, Joe. But I think for as long as Bamford played, we'd have got less out of Rodrigo in that role in that first half. I don't know if I'm massively wrong here, and I did put it on my notes. Is like, I want to chat about Bamford because everyone tells me in my comments, I don't know what I'm talking about. You've got to start Rodrigo, and then I start to think, is it me that's not seeing the good things that he does?
I look completely different.
I would have agreed.
Completely
Before the game, I
different.
would
I
have 100% agreed. I would have said you want him to hold the ball up, you want him to link the play. But then as the first
But
half
he didn't
kind of
do
went
that
on, like,
very well, did he, Jay? He didn't hold the ball up at all very well.
No, well,
It's not easy against Man City.
No,
first
that's
of
the
all.
whole-
this
yeah.
is the thing.
There's
Yes,
areas
but
of what
he-
he's done
he-
that I'd protect him on. Like, I mean,
No, go on, Kate. Like,
Go, yeah.
go,
No,
like,
no,
go on,
sorry.
Kate.
No, because I just thought that there was chances that he could have taken that he didn't. His ball control was appalling. He was not. He was the weakest link on Saturday for me. I think, apart from Mark Rocker, and it's not good enough for somebody who's you expect more out of. It's just not good enough. He didn't rise to the occasion.
yeah, there's parts of it. I mean, yeah, I didn't think he had a good game, being honest.
I
But I
think
can,
it's-
but I can
But he
understand
never
the
has a
reason
good
behind.
game, Jay. He
But
hasn't
he
a good
does
game for
sometimes.
God knows how long, and we keep
Yeah.
playing him. For God's
I
sake.
know
It's a
that.
Whereas
combination of
Willie
But there are.
and Harrison
Willie
weren't
wasn't-
used properly.
I know. Well, there's other reasons for that. I think they were isolated because we just couldn't get the ball out in the pass in the first half. He said it himself. The
Yeah.
pass in the first half wasn't what he wanted and wasn't good enough, and it wasn't. But I'm not even talking about his hold up play. I'm not even talking about his finishing or his running. I'm just talking about his general demeanor when we were right backs against the wall about 25, 26 minutes into the game. We were parked on our 6-yard line nearly. We just couldn't get the ball off them. And when it did come out, he just never seemed to be in space to pick it up or to help us out or take a bit of pressure off the back line or like just, if the ball is cleared, stand on it, try and drag it into a corner flag, take a bit of pressure off the back line, give them a couple of minutes to, catch their breath again. But it just seemed to be they were knocking the ball around and he was just standing and there was no effort to kind of press anyone. And that's just off the ball stuff. That's just your defender from the front. And when you see how hard and how much running everybody else was having to do, you're like, you could drop in there and help out. Like you can go into midfield and help us out a little bit when we're so deep. But I just that was the bit that I kind of went, we need everyone to burst a gut here, like Rodrigo did for 50 minutes last week. He just ran around the place like an absolute lunatic for 15 minutes. It's like, yeah, but he didn't do that. But again, you can't start with that where Rodrigo's going to get 50 minutes out and he's done.
Before Luke comes in, because I know Luke's got something to say on it as well. Like, for me, and again, this is what I've been telling myself today when I've seen the comments raining in on Bamford is going, every single manager plays him. Every single manager plays him. And I'll put my hat on now that Bamford will start every game under Big Sam.
Possibly, yeah.
And so I start to think, well, they're all doing it. So maybe I'm not as blinkered, but I don't know. The general consensus among the fan base seems to be, Luke, that he's no good. But for me, like, I thought there were parts where go to Kate's. Let Luke come in and then you can respond, Kate. Go on, Luke.
I'm sure. Look, he didn't have a good game by his standards, and look, he hasn't been great for the majority of the season. Let's be honest. He overcomes some injuries again and whatnot, but Patrick Bamford brings to that team that nobody else we've got in the squad can bring. Simple as that. We've got no physical centre forward that can put himself amongst defenders, that can be awkward, that can, give him a bit of the shit housing, a bit of things that centre backs hate to play against. Pretty much, if you come up and get a centre back, would much rather play against a Rodrigo than a Patrick Bamford, regardless of what they can do with the ball at the feet. Regardless of that, and when a defender sees an opposition lineup, they would much rather play against Rodrigo. Slater
100%.
doesn't put himself get involved, and that's the reason Patrick Bamford plays. We're a team that's fighting at the bottom of the league. We need somebody up there who can even play 45, 60 minutes and just
a
put himself
presence,
out.
isn't it?
Absolutely, and I completely understand. But if you watch Patrick Bamford as well, he's running off the ball when we've got possession. There's nobody else does that for us either. No. He makes some great runs to take players away. Now, with the ball at his feet is a completely different story, and I completely agree and understand.
Bearing in mind, he's supposed to score goals.
Well, he's not. That's not the only rule. I mean,
how many goals all season? I don't know.
We're fourth from bottom, Kate. We're not creating a huge amount of chances for any striker to score goals.
That's always been the issue with Bamford. Bamford needs a good few chances to score, right? Yeah. But he's also our only striker with any semblance of hold-up play. So in this Big Sam system, he's all about second balls. And Bamford has to start because nobody else can hold the ball up. When you see Rodrigo up there, he gets bored. He loses concentration and then he drifts back into midfield to pick it up. Yeah. In a system like this, you can't really afford to do that because then if we do win the ball back, everybody looks up oh, there's nobody up front
No one
to get that ball. The thing that you could try is Rutte, because we've signed a £35 million player.
Yeah, but
people
I
say
think
he's a
we
bit of a
can all-
donkey, but
child, he's not ready.
Max, we can all
Can I
agree
just
at
say-
this point, no,
Off
he's
the
not
bench,
being
at
used.
least.
He's not going to be used, is he?
He's not ready for it.
3 managers now, bro.
He's
3.
not.
if we go down, we'll have sold him.
Yeah, well,
the
that's
summer.
Victor. That's Victor.
So,
I was going to say that
It
Max,
will
if
be
you have,
arguably as bad as the JKA thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
The amount
Yeah,
of
no, it
minutes
will
he's
be,
played.
but Max, if you pay 120,000 for a 15-year-old Opel Corsa, you know, you're like, well, I paid 150 grand for that. I should drive it every day. I was like, well, probably not going to work. Probably not going to drive that well because
Yeah, but I'm not talking about
overpaid for
starting
something.
him. I'm talking
I know
about
that,
the
but
fact that we're coming towards the end of a game, and Big Sam takes off. Who was it? I think he took off Bamford right at the end, didn't he? Or did he not take him off at all? He basically
he
brought
did,
Aronson on in the striker
Aronson,
position. And we've seen Aronson at least Rutter's physical. At least he's tall. At least he's big. He might be able to put his body about a bit.
Do we know that though, Max? Though, like we're not. I mean, as Joe has said, 3 managers are watching him in training every single day of the week, and they're not picking him. None of them are picking him, and they're all picking Aronson ahead of him, which would tell you that in training, Aronson's clearly looks like a better option than Rudder. I mean, I keep saying this. Everyone keeps calling for Rudder. You may as well be calling for anybody from the under 17 team, because this is what happens when it's shit. Everyone goes, play the kids, or play this guy, or play that guy. Panic. Play somebody. Just do something different.
Look,
The problem with Rudder is
everybody last night on Match of the Day called out Patrick Bamford for not holding the ball up, for not taking his chances. So the only people that are defending him are on here, and I do not understand why he's being defended so much. He's
played against
not
Manchester City with some of the best defenders in midfield.
Even Max said, yes, you said on your tactical video, which I watched, you know, the reason this isn't going to work and the reason we're not going to win is because this formation relies upon clinical finishing. We haven't got anybody at the front who can do that. Him included.
That's the crux of the problem, and that brings us back to what. Yeah, we went off on a bit of a tangent about Rutte, but the reason I said that was because Bamford is our only option who can hold the ball up. In some games he does, in some games he doesn't. But he doesn't finish his chances.
No, that's fair.
And
no, that's fair.
Anybody else up front, Rodrigo's a good finisher, but he needed a really lucky bounce off Akanji to go through and score that goal.
This is what I think. If what I'll say though, Kate, yeah, if you play Rodrigo for as many minutes as Bamford yesterday, we hold the ball up even less than we did under Bamford. So best
does
believe
he win the ball back for us more in midfield areas? Does he come back and win the ball and get involved more like he did last week, where he's winning the ball in the 18-yard line and helping out as an extra player? Because you know, if you're man for man against Man City,
but he needs that presence up top though. Doesn't he? The out ball.
100%. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I'm just saying it's horses for courses, and in the game where you're spending 87% possession at one point on the edge of your 18-yard line, and you've got an additional player who could come back and give you a dig out where your one-on-ones could now be two-on-ones for you, that wasn't happening. And there was situations we weren't getting out of the box, and it didn't matter if we had Bamford up front or not, because when we did get the ball, we kicked it into space and he wasn't going to run for it anyway, so it was too far away from him. So having that extra body to come back in and win things sometimes can actually help you out a little bit and help you get up the pitch then by having the overload. But we're so bad 1v1 that going 1v1 against Man City was almost suicidal, and we saw Firpo have an awful time of it on the wing against Mahrez. Like, Mahrez just ruined him. But like, if you've got another player over there, maybe doubling up, it doesn't happen then maybe. So it's,
I agree that.
I understand 100% the reasons why Bamford should be starting games. I agree that on this system that Sam Allardyce is going to play, he probably makes the most sense of he's not great at holding the ball up, but he's the best that we have. He's not a great finisher, but he's the best that we have. And he's not a great runner with the ball, but he's the best that we have. And unfortunately, that comes back to the recruitment situation as well. The players we have just aren't good enough, and that's why we are where we are. But at the same time, yesterday, and again, he's not going to see an awful lot of the ball. Either were the wingers. We were going to be defending for most of that game. We were going to destroy the front players. Were going to be isolated for huge amounts of that game. For me, it was just a case of, can you come back in and do a bit of work and help us out a bit? And I didn't think he did that yesterday.
The positive thing is, though, this was against Man City, and I don't think we play as defensively again in any of our remaining games. And that's the positive thing, because, like you say, Joe, if Bamford comes in to defend in this game, there's nobody ahead of him because nobody's going to make a forward run. But if it is Rodrigo or if it is Bamford in the next game, if he comes back, I think Harrison or Nonto have a bit more of a license to then go forward and make a forward run. Rather in this game, they're obviously like, oh, let's make sure we stay back and mark these players because they're the best in the league. And let's just say they are unbelievable. Honestly, at points, I was just like, this is just enjoyable to watch how good they are. When Gundogan outside of the foot curled it over the top, De Bruyne did a spinning little back heel into Haaland's path, and then Haaland missed because he's a Leeds fan. That was just like such an unbelievable move. I was just in awe of how good they are, and I just thought
they are class. Like they are unbelievable, aren't they? Like, you know, and I think just to keep them down to 2 goals. I mean, they probably should. I don't know what the XG was. I'd imagine probably maybe 3 or 4, but you know, to actually hold them to 2 goals at their place, and you know, against. I mean, we've just been beaten 4 and 5 and 6 and 7-1, you know,
easy
recently. So I mean, look, we can pick weak links out, but ultimately, I felt the actual system worked far better than we could have imagined.
Yeah, agree. I totally agree with
going to Newcastle. Do you think?
After?
Yeah, I think yeah. They've been beaten tonight, haven't they? Today, sorry.
Which means they're going to be even more desperate for a win next week.
I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. Honestly, I'm actually quite relaxed.
I'm going to watch Max's tactics video again.
I'm quite relaxed, man.
I'm going to wait and see what happens in 3 weeks' time. You keep doing this to yourself. This is a form of torture you're bringing on yourself. Your manager, I feel great about this. 2 weeks later, I want to kill him.
I do this. Yeah, you're right. Right, let's talk a little bit on Big Sam, because what really disappointed me as a Leeds United fan really was just the whole mockery from within our own fan base about the appointment of Big Sam. I did. I can only speak for myself. I was a little bit like, no, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I was a little, and do you know what I've noticed as well? Like, call me mad, but I didn't realize just how big Sam was. And what I mean by that is we're everywhere. It's almost as if Bielsa's in the door in a sense of how much media coverage this has got. No, genuinely. Luke, I don't mean in terms of stature or anything like that. I'm just saying the amount of coverage over all the podcasts I listen to, all of them, like the Football Ramble, Big Sam special, all the other podcasts that are like Big Sam special. And I was like, bloody hell, everyone's talking about Leeds United. Everyone. And I was listening to, what was it earlier on today? There was another one. I forget. Oh, it was Don't Go to Bed Just Yet. And the guy from the Kaiser Chiefs in there was saying he got contacted off his mate who don't even watch football saying, oh, you got Big Sam. Because it's like, I don't know, he seems to be a bit of a mythical creature or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's all been a little bit mad just how exposed it is. And I think he's had a lot of disrespect. And I think, I'm going to say this is Leeds United manager now, innit? I'm all for the, the dinosaurs, bring them back. Neil Warnock's number 2.
I think it's more to do with the fact he's quite a big presence, and obviously Leeds are quite a big presence. And I think the two put together, nobody ever saw it. You know, I think that's probably contributed quite heavily to the reason why it is such big news. Because we've gone, we said it ourselves last week. We've gone from Bielsa to Big Sam. You know, it's a massive transition in the space of only. What was it, 15, 16 months, I think, in total? And to actually do that, it's almost contrasting each other, going from a particular style of play where, you control the ball, it's possession, pass and move, to lump it forward or it's probably not as simple as that. Sorry, Max, you're far more tactically astute than I am. So, but my I suppose my overview on Big Sam was very much anti-football, sort of Sean Dyche type stuff, where they lump it forward, and that general transition nobody could believe, and to bring him in 4 games before the end of the season, I don't think many clubs have ever done that before. No. So there's probably a lot of reasons for these media outlets all coming together and making a big deal out of it. But look, if he keeps us up, it'll be an absolute masterstroke.
Yeah, it will.
But the thing is, it'll be an accidental masterstroke. And the reason I poked fun at it a little bit, and I said how far we have fallen, it's nothing actually to do with Big Sam himself. It's the fact that the club have paraded themselves round ever since Bielsa left, as this club we'll only sign an attacking manager. We want to play attacking. Well,
that was Victor though, wasn't it?
We only do this. We only do that. And however many months later, we are now knocking on Big Sam's door, going, "Can you save us, please?"
But that's Victor, though, isn't it? Victor's the blame for this.
Yeah, and that's why he's gone. But he's taken the fall for it, and everybody's good. Yeah, he's gone now. He's gone now. But we just best not forget that Radrizzani and Kinnear have had their hands in that pot as well.
I don't think we'll forget about it. No, I do feel that at the moment it's kind of, what else is there? A 2-1 loss to City. Would you prefer to 6? It is defensive. It's not pretty. At the end of the day, it's last chance saloon, and I think people need to sort of realize that. He does play, a rather unattractive style of football, but if it does the job, it does the job.
If it gets results, then who cares at this point?
He made a very good point himself when he was talking, but I like possession-based football. I like watching it. It's an enjoyable form of football. And Sam isn't quite in the Sean Dyche school of long ball football just yet. And as an Irish person speaking, we had Jack Charlton for so long, whose only game was long ball football. I would say he's more direct passing than long ball football. It's not big, huge humped balls down the middle of the park. It's balls into space to push people on. It's slightly different, and he probably deserves a bit more credit than being a long ball merchant. My thing with Sam was always, not with Sam, with the decision being made was, and I think I said this last week, we were building this ideology of the club for after Bielsa had left. It was going to be, he's built the structure. We know the style we want. We know the systems. We know the training regimes. We know all of this. Now we've learned all this. This will be the Leeds way going forward. So when Bielsa leaves, because there was always a plan for that, the next guy that will take this on will follow in the same style. And then 14 months later, you're at Big Sam's door knocking, going, "Please, can you help us?" And you're like, that is a massive departure from an ideology to something like that. And that was my issue with the whole thing of going, you've ripped the game plan up and you've thrown it in the bin, but you've dramatically done that. So where do you go from here now for next season? Is it a case of going back to the drawing board and going, well, we'll get Brendan Rodgers in and he has an ideology now he wants to play and we start building it again? Or
we need an identity again, don't we? Yeah, at the end of the day.
I would like to see Leeds United as a club with an identity, Kate. Yeah, I would. But at the same time, and this is where I agree with Sam, it doesn't matter what way you play. The ball goes in the back of the net. Everyone in the stadium is jumping up and down, singing and jumping dance straight away. So everyone's happy when you score. So does it really matter how you score as long as you score? And that's kind of where my head's at right now, going, yeah, look, if he does keep us up, fine. But do you stick with him next year then again? But maybe, and then I'm torn on this bit as well of going, maybe he's exactly what we need in the Premier League if we do stay up next year, because you'll get us probably mid-table and be, relatively drama-free season. And maybe we need that. And he will, that presence that you said, Joe, he will distract from everything else that's going on. Like the players will get unbelievably shielded because he'll take the heat. Like the comments about Klopp and Guardiola, that's just designed to be talk about me, not the player. Talk about me and take the pressure. So there's merits to it.
He also surprised me in his press conference. I think, I can't remember if it was Adam Pope, one of the journos basically asked him, will you have the players in every day? Will you be beasting them or will they have some time off? And he said, no, of course they're going to have time off. They need time to go home, relax, chill out with their families and have a normal life and then not be stressed when they come back to football. And that surprised me because on the surface of it, you just sort of assume, don't you, that he's just going to absolutely beast them. And,
do you know what? I think, Max? Having heard a lot of people, I think Yorkshire folk will just like him. I just think because he's no bullshit, though. What I'm saying is he's no bullshit. It's down to earth. And having listened to him in press conference, I'm going, because he's been, the fact is, he's been a bit of a mockery character. And I guess until he comes through your football club, but then again, Everton fans couldn't stand him, West Ham couldn't stand him, Newcastle couldn't stand him. Maybe it'd come to that stage. But for me personally, I'm a bit like, actually, I like him. Just for the things that you've mentioned about him coming out. And when he talked about the new manager bounce, Max, and he went, anyone who tells you it doesn't improve it, they're talking rubbish. You know what I mean? And I just think, I get it.
He said he sat down with them and just asked them about their actual lives as well. He said that he spoke to them and he says, I like to just know what they're about, what the hobbies are. Like, how the families are and stuff like that, and just have an understanding of the players on a human level. Whereas Jesse Marsh, I feel like, was screaming at them saying, "Don't be stressed, don't be stressed," and they're obviously just gonna be stressed.
And Javi wasn't screaming at all.
Yeah, Javi was too calm, too quiet, eerily just stood in the corner. Like,
it's a mad season for the players, though. Like, they've had Bielsa, who was last 14 months. You've had Bielsa, who was distant but loved them, but wouldn't show it to them until they did something or they achieved something. Then you had Jesse Marsh, who was everybody's best mate in the dressing room. Then you had Javi, who just didn't want to talk to anybody and was withdrawn from the squad, and he was just there to manage them. And then you've got Sam Min having Kumbaya moments with them again. You're like, what a weird year, or weird 14 months as a player to go. We've had so many different styles of management, let alone systems of play, all thrown at them. And if they manage to come through this, I don't see it. And I'm the same as you, Joe. Every now and then I get drawn into this thing of going, yeah, but maybe. And I'm like, no, stop it.
We've got nothing to lose, though.
We have that's exactly
I'd
it.
rather they went into games with a positive attitude for the last 4 games. And even if we go down, we're kind of resigned to that. So anything else is a bonus, I think.
I completely agree. I totally agree. I think
we're not going down. Like, why do you think we're going down?
I'm just saying, you know.
We're not in the relegation zone, man.
Yet. There's
It will be tomorrow.
That's going to happen.
I don't think we
don't. No.
There's one big difference in this year and last year. I think if we manage to stay up on the last day of the season, it'll be at home in Ellen Road. And I don't think, from an ownership perspective, I don't think we'll see Kinnear and Rads on the pitch this time, giving it big to the crowd.
Well, it'll be all players. It'll be all fans, man.
That's all it should. Yeah, but I think last year was a one-off. We saved it. It's not going to happen again. 2 years in a row. It's a different conversation with the fans. The players will get clapped off. The owners won't. So
I'll be on the pitch.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, they'll be on the pitch. I might turn up just for the last game, pure glory hunter, just so I can have my moment of being up here.
Dig a little bit up in the corner like Napoli did. The league.
Just because I never got it when we got promoted, so I might just make a return for that. I tell you what, though, man, they'll be like, "What the fuck are you doing here, man?" Yeah. I can imagine it now. Come back for
glory. You've got a watch along to do, Joe.
I know, yeah. You dickhead.
Do it from inside. Do it.
Exactly.
If you get signals.
Do you know what I want to say as well? And I think I can't remember if it was Max or Joe right at the start. A lot was made of these Man City chances, and there were many. But there was also a lot that were offside that were allowed to play on because the lino doesn't put his flag up. There was a lot of scenarios where if you're not watching it and, you know, if you're in a pub or whatever, having, you know, watching it on a watch long, listening to the commentary, all that sort of stuff, and they say, oh, look, well, he was offside anyway. You know, there was a few scenarios like that. And I just think as well, like, even from defensive set pieces, we held our line really, really well, which is something you can't say for this Leeds United side because we've always been woeful. So I just think we did make improvements there as well. I just wanted to have a little chat about, even from an attacking set piece. I know we only had one, but it hit a Leeds United head. Do you know what I mean? When does it?
We've defended 3 different styles already this season. And to change something so, you know, in 3 days is quite, I mean, to change anything in 3 days, but to change how a team's set up from, I mean, they probably only trained for 2 of those days, right? Because the day before the game, they wouldn't have trained, or they may have done a little bit of stuff. But so realistically, Sam Allardyce probably only had 2 days with them. And to actually come in and make that amount of changes, to not only to the lineup, but to actually how we were going to play and what the expectation. I mean, they all expected to be sitting off the ball and not have a lot of possession, right? But each and every one of that squad has played under 3 different, and Joe mentioned it earlier, 3 managers this season who have all wanted a completely different thing from those players, regardless of who's on the pitch. And it takes some concentration and some, you know, some. I'm quite. I'm not going to say in awe of them because they've not performed over the course of the season, but it isn't an easy thing to do. Is to come in and learn something, not new, but something a little bit abstract from the norm that you've been doing in training week in, week out, and to actually put that into practice against as I say again, the best team in club football is you know it deserves its plaudits.
It's the not forgetting as well, because in the middle of a game when you're a million miles an hour and your blood pressure's through the roof, to not lapse into the old way or the one before that again, to keep the concentration for 90 minutes. And as you said, the start, Joe, the fact that Man City finished the game off in the corner flag, that's 90 minutes of graft. And we haven't, how long has it been since we've seen Leeds players get through a full 90 minutes and actually still look like they can run at the end of the game? It's a while, hasn't it? So they do deserve a little bit of credit for, again, as Luke's gone through it in detail, that's a lot. It's a lot this year to manage. Some credit there.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, we do have to give a massive lump of credit to Verba, because I think if he wasn't in that back four, we would have conceded 4 or 5. I almost got sick of saying, and Verba's cleared it again. Honestly, it was like everything that was cleared, I looked, and it was Verba. He's just everywhere. He's always in the right place, and that positioning cannot be understated. How important that is. Somebody who just knows where to stand. It's such a simple thing in football, but he's so good at it compared to some of our other players who often get caught ball watching.
Would you, Max? I'll ask you, because I was happy he was dropped at first. Then it turns out he hadn't been dropped and he'd actually not trained. But would you bring Robin Koch back in, or have you seen enough from that pairing of Rasmus and Robles to say, you know what, we'll keep it as it is?
I think I trust Robin Koch more to come back in, because
really?
I've seen that. Well,
with
Verba, I've seen that he can hit a long ball as well. That's the thing about Robin Koch. He's got a decent pass in him.
I think he's shite, me. I think he's shit.
The thing is, Rasmus can't kick a football. And when you see him sometimes, his passing is so bad. When we're not relying on passing out from the back, but we're relying on having a defender who can get his head up and chip it into the striker, or put a long ball forward into the striker, or into somebody who's on his team. It's not just hoofing it. Like we said before, there is more to it than just hoofing it, but you are aiming for someone specifically, which means you need somebody who can pass it. And I don't think Rasmus is capable of doing that. And I just worry about him defensively. His positioning. He's been a right back for his whole career, I think. So he's always going to have that element of the Ayling factor, I call it. When Ayling plays at right centre back, he sometimes forgets.
Do you know what though? As well, sorry, just because I was hearing it, I disagree on the Koch being a good passer.
No, I don't. I think his direct balls out in the back aren't bad.
I don't think
longer balls.
Good. I think better than Christensen. Was probably what we said.
So the thing is,
good is probably a little bit.
Yeah, there's a difference between being able to play out from the back, which we've seen him be poor at. I can totally understand where you're coming from there, Joe, because you've probably got PTSD flashbacks of him passing it into midfield and straight to an opponent. Yeah, but that wouldn't be what we were asking.
3 times over, one after other, man.
Yeah, I think that's the key distinction, though, is that he would.
True, isn't it? It's the big diag ball.
That's why Cooper would work. Cooper would have been class for Sam.
Yeah,
Cooper would have been class.
But I think Robin Koch's best games this season have been beside Verba. That's when
that's fair. That is fair.
And to be fair, when the two of them have been in the team together, it's probably been our best defensive.
Improve Firpo as well when he's in there, but
he does.
He's got skinned by Mahrez, but honestly, there's not many fullbacks in the league who wouldn't get skinned by Mahrez.
He could have had a lot worse day, Max. It could have been a lot worse for Firpo, and it wasn't. And I think that you're dead right. You're dead right.
It's perfect time for Verba to be coming back from injury, because if we didn't have him, I think we'd be knacked, and we already are screwed in a certain sense because of Tyler Adams missing in that midfield.
I do have a massive agenda against Robin Koch at this point. I can't lie to you, but someone's just said in the comments, Joe defends Bamford, but not Koch, right? Give me.
It's a different player, so that
no, but
different positions.
Off the top of your head, give me a stellar performance from Robin Koch. I can give you some for Bamford. Credit in the bank. Maybe not this season, but I can give you some for Bamford. I can give you a hat-trick against Aston Villa and then just say to you, get in the bin with your Robin Koch stuff, because he's done no.
Robin Koch's never scored a hat-trick, has he?
No, but the thing is as well, I think I took it personally when he's twerking for Newcastle and Tottenham and that, and I just think, well, you're not getting anywhere close to that Robin Koch, so it is what it is. Anyway,
do we know he did that, though? Like, really?
No, well, his agent did, bro. His agent is, isn't it? His agent's talking before this new contract, which...
His agent wanted a release clause, and if he was to sign the contract before the end of the season, he wanted a release clause in it, and if he didn't, there was talk that his agent was saying that Newcastle and Spurs were interested in speaking to him. So it's his agent,
which is
Gavin
bullshit.
Also,
I would not give him a new. I would not give him a new deal. I would not give him a new deal.
You'd
mate.
have to do just to protect his
To
value.
sell him,
surely.
yeah, fair enough.
Sell him, yeah.
Llorente one was one, wasn't there? So yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Luke. Yeah, give him it and then sell him. That's fair. Right, okay. Sorry, I've gone on off a bit.
I was going to say just the only reason Rasmus was playing centre half yesterday was because he's pacey. He could probably try and keep legs with Haaland if you got him behind. That's the only reason I think he was in there, was to go, if they put the ball behind, run. That was it.
Yeah,
it's the only reason I think he was in there.
Yeah. Would you keep it the same for Newcastle, folks? I think the majority is going to say Rodrigo up top, Kate. Would that be your one change, or would you look to maybe drop Rocker and bring in Sam Greenwood, or would you make any changes? Oh, I don't think she can hear us, can she? You look lovely tonight, Kate. She can't hear us.
He's too busy replying to fan mail in the comments.
Yeah.
I can't hear, guys. I can't hear. You're all like, Daleks.
Really?
I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear us now? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you're all out of sync.
Really? I think there's a delay in there.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of changes for me, Joe, I think you'd nailed.
I'm going to go back
probably-
out and come back in, yeah?
All right. That's what she said. Hey.
Yeah, no, I'd be tempted to look at Greenwood. Set pieces could be crucial in an Allardyce side. Rocker wasted the set pieces that he had. I'd still leave Bamford in to start rather than I don't know. Actually, I don't know, because I think we'll get more chances.
Start Bamford, bro,
I think we'll get more chances against Newcastle at home than we would see. And a crucial point in the season. I suppose the question is, what do we think we'll get out of Newcastle? Do you think, because they've been beaten today, but they have played some good football this season, but they're very frustrating, and I think Bamford would frustrate them more than Rodrigo would. So I'd probably leave it as it was, but I'd probably look at bringing Greenwood in for Rocker, give Rocker a bit of time as well.
Yeah. Kate, what would you, because you couldn't hear us before, I was asking you.
Sorry.
It's all right. You don't have to apologise. I was just saying, like, what changes would you make? Would it be just Bamford for Rodrigo, everyone else the same, or would you be looking to bring in Robin Koch at the back? What would you do?
I mean, look, Bamford really pissed me off on Saturday, but I wouldn't necessarily start him I wouldn't necessarily leave him on the bench for, in place of Rodrigo, because I do take what people are saying about, we wouldn't have got as much hold up play from Rodrigo. I need him to be more clinical. He's getting on my nerves. He's really League One sort of level, isn't he?
He's not, man. Bamford.
He is. He scored 3 goals all season. Some of it, Sinistera scored more. He's just not.
He's been injured most of it.
Injured for most of the year, yeah.
But he hasn't, though.
He's been on a stretcher for 6 months.
But not since January.
But League One's unfair, man. He's an international man, as Angus said.
Well,
Barely.
No, I mean,
it all went to shit, Joe. Since then,
I'd keep him. Yeah, I would stop Bamford, but if he doesn't stop, I'd bring Rodrigo on before he did last on Saturday. If
I can't believe all the Bamford hate, man. Like everyone in the comments, he's shit, he's rubbish.
He had a shit game.
He's not rubbish though, is he, man?
Yeah, but lay fans, like normal people who aren't like footy stats geeks, want to see results from players. And at the end of the day, there's no results from Bamford. It's just true. It's true. Normal fans want to see results, and they're not getting any from him.
Okay, no, that's fair. That is fair. I'm just laughing at the comments coming in. Genuinely, I'm reading them all. I'm like, what the hell?
I would be interested to see. Do you remember was it LUFC Data used to release stats on miles run and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And I'd be interested to see what is how much work he does put in comparison to who else, anybody else who's played up there.
Well, while we have a chat about if anyone's got any changes, I'll have a look.
I would agree with Luke. I would bring Greenwood in and I would probably bring Cock in for Christensen. But I think you need to look at it on a game-by-game basis now. I think the changes need to make sense. I think if you're going against if you're looking at West Ham and Spurs, maybe as the 2 games we could pick up a couple of points. They're the ones where you go with a more attacking formation. I think they're the games where you probably play Bamford and Rodrigo together to try and get something out of those games. I think against Newcastle, you're probably going to play similar to Man City, but probably not as defensively. So I think you're still going to see a pretty deep line and then maybe a little bit more support. Or what Allardyce was screaming at them the first half was to get the 2 wingers to come in narrower and actually be closer to Bamford. So the gaps weren't as big. I think you might see that happening as well. Nearly a 4-3-3. But I would also like to see Sam Greenwood come back into the team. I like Sam Greenwood. There's a lot of people that don't rate Sam Greenwood. I think there's a very good footballer in there. And I think the style of play that Sam was going to play, set pieces, are going to be hugely important. And his delivery is excellent. So they were the 2 ones I'd make.
I do trust Sam. I do trust Sam Allardyce to sort it out. You know, he made some big calls at the weekend, and I think he will do going forward. You know, if he needs to drop certain players, I think he will do. You know.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the bench this year, the bench now. Sorry, Max. If you look at the bench now versus, say, the bench when Jesse was here at the start of the year, you've got Ireland's all-time record goal scorer and proven Premier League striker Robbie Keane as a coach there. So he brings nothing else to the table. He brings experience at this level and top-level experience and a bigger personality in the dressing room than most of the players. He's scored more goals at any level than any of those players in that dressing room. So he has... And he has an ability now to talk to players and tell them what they should do. And there's a bit of respect there because of what he's achieved. Sam Allardyce has been around a very long time, has achieved an awful lot as a manager in terms of like the clubs that he's managed and the clubs that he's saved. So he has a massive personality as well. They're not going to talk him down. And then you've got the other fella who came in from MK Dons, whose name is Robinson.
Carl Robinson.
Who has been destined to be involved with Leeds at some point for the last 15, 16 years. So I managed to get here. But again, apparently he's a bit of a bastard as well. So like that's needed. But that's needed. These players have had too much of a say over too many managers. And the fact that Sam brought up the leadership council again this week worried me. That still exists. So, but I don't think he'll be afraid to.
And who leads the leadership council?
Bamford.
Yeah.
I think that will be taken apart pretty quickly. I think he'll get what he needs out of that and he'll start dismantling that. But also, he's also made the point of saying that if he was to stay on next year, this team's not good enough. And he said that players at the rest aren't good enough. So he said it out loud. So these players aren't being mollycoddled. They're not being minded by Sam. They're getting direct instructions. They're being told, big decisions are being made. And my personality and my staff's personalities are much bigger than yours. So take it. That's the end of the decision made. And I think that will help.
Yeah, it's nice to see Robbie Keane with a Leeds badge on his jacket again.
True.
He's always dreamed of this moment, Max.
Sorry?
He's always dreamed of this moment.
I agree with you in everything you said there. And to me, like I said before, I think Robin Koch comes in for Rasmus just because Rasmus isn't a centre-back, but he was put in there to try and negate the threat of Haaland, which he didn't really do because Haaland had all those chances. He was just lucky that Haaland missed them all. So, but yeah, Robin Koch comes in just for his passing ability. And like you said, Joe, as well, there's a possibility that this formation, it's the one we played against Man City was a 4-5-1. But when you actually look at that on a piece of paper, you go, grab both those wingers, 4-3-3. That's all you have to do. And when we haven't got the ball, we'll be to a bank of 5 and a bank of 4 with a one striker. And hopefully in this game, it'll give us more license to then send Nonto and Harrison forward a little bit to be able to attack with Bamford. And then they can actually get chances to cross the ball into the box, because I don't actually think we even managed to cross the ball into the box because we were that isolated up front.
We did a few times, and I think that was
one that went from Harrison right across the face.
Yeah, beauty.
So it shows that threat is there.
Ayling did one as well, I think, and I think that's something, Max, that we will see against lesser opposition, even more so against Newcastle, because they are lesser than City, although still very good. It seems like the wingers, or when we're in dangerous areas, will get it out of the feet and look to get it into the box.
We drew with Newcastle under Jesse Marsh.
Yeah.
I think it was you saying, Joe, wasn't it, that we can do one of two things. We can either defend or we can either attack. And when we played Newcastle, we rode our luck. Don't get me wrong, we rode our luck, but we got a draw out of that game. So with Big Sam, somebody who's actually a defensive coach, there's every chance that we get a point out of that game. And I'm taking a point out of Newcastle. And going into West Ham, who will be on the beach after their result, hopefully, and they've got the
Europe,
League. Yeah. I'm more confident now than I was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's a possibility of getting something out of Newcastle. They're not completely invincible, of course not, which is what it feels like coming up against Man City. You just feel like not a chance. But you just think Newcastle, even a year ago, they were terrible. Well, more than a year ago now, but you know what I mean. They're possible to get at. We just need to be on our game because they've got some really good attackers.
Let's go for a round of score predictions then going into the Newcastle game. Kate, how are you feeling? What are your thoughts? Can we get anything at home against Newcastle?
We can, whether we will or not.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is a really difficult one, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
I'd like. Do you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I'd either go draw or.
I think as well, doesn't it? I think Monday is going to be huge because if results don't go our way, the pressure going into that fixture is huge.
Yeah.
If they go our way tomorrow, City are playing Everton. Forest have got a tough game. You know what I mean? I think they might be playing Liverpool. I think, and you're like, or maybe that's already gone. But I just think it's a lot of it hinges on Monday night's results, doesn't it? Because it might be a must-win game at that point. You know what I mean?
I was just going to say, Joe, do we change how we set up depending on tomorrow night's fixed results?
That's the thing. Yeah, because he might, like Sam might go, do you know what? Results went our way. All we need is a point. Do you know what I mean? Let's stink a 0-0 out.
But I think he'll do that over the next 3 games. I think he'll look at it in a 3-game block and go, how many points do we think we need between now and the end of the season? Probably 3. Okay, where do we think the best chance of getting those 3 are? I don't think he looks at any other team down there. I think he's literally going, I reckon 3-4 points and that'll keep us up. I'm focused on which games we're going to get them from. I don't think tomorrow. I don't think tomorrow.
And which games, do you think we're going to get those?
West Ham. Well, it's 2 of 3, I reckon. Either West Ham, Spurs or Newcastle, because I agree. I think Newcastle can be got at. I think we could probably get a 0-0 draw against if we needed to, because we've done it.
What about Hammers?
Hammers, I think, is the best chance to get 3 points because they'll be done, and they'll hopefully have a European final.
Even after today, though, even after today's result.
Yeah, but they'll rest, Kate. They'll rest now.
Oh yeah. If
everything goes well, they'll have a European final.
Yes. So that's the thing. They're safe now for me. They're safe.
They can play the kids against us.
Yeah, they play Thursday, Saturday against us. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I think they've got 4 games in 10 days.
Yeah.
And then if they do get through in the semi, they've then got to prepare for the final. Yeah. So then, so we want them to win that semi as well, to be honest, to get through to the final.
Stop saying semi.
Sorry, yeah. But do you know what, though? Next weekend, say results go our way, Forest have to go to Chelsea. Well, Matt, I wanted Chelsea to beat Bournemouth yesterday because I said I need some form going into Forest.
Am I wrong in saying this is the last week where any of the bottom teams are playing each other?
I think so, mate. Because
final weekend of it, and then after that, everyone gets into Man City, Arsenal, Spurs territory, kind of. Yeah.
Everton have got City, Chelsea have got Forest, and Leicester have got Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Next weekend, and we've got Newcastle. So, this tomorrow night's massive, innit? Tomorrow night, please, Southampton, man, please. Yeah, because
I'm gonna say we're gonna win on Saturday.
Oh yeah, well, go on, give us a score.
2-0. But I'm also saying that because I'm going to the game and I really want to see a win. So,
wow!
I'm here for a pint, Joe.
Yes, do definitely do. I'll have loads of free time.
Luke's over at
and free money, hopefully.
Luke's always over at the Peacock, rabble rousing. You know what I mean, with his merry men and that.
I'll be in some states Saturday, I tell you. 12:30 kickoff, straight to the pub for 10.
Max, score. Oh, go on, Luke. Go on.
No, I was just picturing my night out with you.
All right, you went and I was like, all right.
That was daydreaming, mate. Looking forward to just getting Stone Roses by me and Joe till 4 a.m.
Class. Give us your score prediction, Luke.
1-1.
1-1. I'll take it. Max,
I was going to say 1-1 as well. I feel like we don't keep them out completely, but because we're going to try and attack a little bit more, just a little bit more than we did against Man City, we might score. So 1-1, and I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, anything but a loss, I'd be happy with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try your way to safety now. Get point involved in
Please,
the games.
please, man,
Even
please.
if we lose, it's still not over. Because
No,
I still agree with Joe. I think the best chance of points for us is going into the last 2 games, even though it's West Ham away, London. They're like Joe said, they've got some more important fixtures, shall we say, coming up. And Spurs are so hit and miss. And at home on the last day of the season.
West Ham squad depth really isn't all that.
No, it isn't. You're right.
They're doing well in Europe, and they've done well in the last couple of seasons. But that once you delve past their starting 11, they're really not that great. And if they're resting players, there's always a chance there.
Yeah, I agree.
Will Sam call in a favour as well?
Probably. Please don't beat me. If I've got any friends down there, give us a buy. Pull a Haaland on them.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
I hope you hadn't had that 500 grand on us to go down.
Oh, mate. Well, he might do. He sort of counteracts it if he keeps us up, because he gets 2.5 mil anyway, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's spread betting. Yeah, it's nice. I agree with you, Kate.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't get the outrage at the money he's getting as a Leeds fan. I'm not asked. It's not my money.
2.5 million is a drop in the ocean of what Leeds will make in the Premier League for 4th season.
Yeah, it's the Premier League, isn't it?
It's a cumulative. It's 4 seasons then, so all it's that money is rolling over in your financial fair play stuff, and we don't have a whole lot of debt, and we potentially got to hope a new ownership if we do stay up. There's a huge amount of reasons why he deserves 2.5 million quid if he keeps up. It's mental money. It's mad to have the ball come into a club and go, I want 500,000 for 4 weeks. It's like, are you fine? But he's got a captive audience. Leeds weren't in a position to say no.
No, exactly.
You could have asked Ryan, you're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Just keep us up.
You're right.
Please.
You're right. Hopefully Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, it goes our way. That's a positive. Tony says Joe loves spending the club's money. I don't know what the fuck you're going on about there, Tony, to be honest. But what I will say to you, mate, I've put enough money into them. So I don't care. But I don't know what you're on about. Right, so please do smash a like on the video, especially you, Tony. Subscribe to the channel. Before I go, we've had some super chats coming actually, and I've also got some chat. Can we quickly? Yes, we can, Max. Sorry, I do apologize. Right, before we go, I just want to bring up some super chats. Colin Kerwin always supports the channel, says Glad Hammers will be on the beach for our match. I think we get a win there and a draw against Spurs. Big ass. But all I can see, even with this, I think it won't be enough. Down, fighting hard. I hope you're wrong, Colin. I hope you're wrong. Yeah. Jimmy says McKennie in a progressive position can be another target. He can play Harrison into the channel and Rodrigo in on goal. And I think we all said right at the start that McKennie did improve. Definitely.
I've been saying that for weeks.
Yeah. And
playing the 3 in midfield will help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is just to put the rest of the panel on notice, really. Max has took it upon himself to do homework, okay? So from this week forward, I need
you mean like a SWAT?
Yeah.
Class SWAT.
Max wants to take us through some stills that he's brought. His homework. God.
Yeah, it's just because both of their goals are exactly the same. And Big Sam, although he's only had a few days, he won't be massively angry because he's only had a few days, but he will be trying to address this. So it's something that we need to look out for against the next couple of opponents. When Mahrez cut in from that right-hand side for both goals, the same passing option to Gundogan was just open. And you can see Harrison, there's a combination of things here. Harrison could move where the white arrow's pointing him to go, to be in that line of passing. And if he does move there, then it's more likely that Mahrez is going to come out to De Bruyne, in which case we can readjust and then come back out and try and defend that. The same thing happens on the next goal, and we haven't learned from it. It's a little bit tighter. You can actually see that Jack Harrison is actually closer to it, and he misses it by inches. Whenever my PowerPoint presenter, there we go. Harrison's actually closer to this one, and you see him swing a leg at it, and it just goes under his leg. The thing is, if Tyler Adams is playing, that's probably where he is, and that's probably what he's doing. But you can see from this that De Bruyne is in the same place again, waiting to receive the ball. So it's something that they've planned on doing. And Big Sam will address this, hopefully, because it's the exact same goal that we conceded against Forest as well. In that home game, Forest cut inside, passed it to Mangala, and he just put it in the back of the net. The fact that we haven't addressed this yet is something that Big Sam will definitely look at. And the frustrating thing is that these 2 goals were both avoidable. Granted, Haaland could have had about 10 goals in this game, but these 2 goals were avoidable. So we could have done even better in this game, but it's just something to look out for. Hopefully that gets fixed, because the fact that there's always just a pass through to the center of the box, you can see we've got the 4 defenders there marking the space there, but really they can push a man on because there isn't anybody on them. City are very clever at not putting somebody on your actual defenders, so they don't know who to mark. But you can see on the right-hand side, Haaland's offside. He's not really a danger at the moment. And then there's only one player, Forshaw, I think it is marking Rico Lewis in there, but nobody else is really a threat at this point. So we definitely could reshuffle ourselves a little bit to try and counteract this. But we've conceded this same goal quite a few times this season.
Start of the season, this was a stereotypical Jesse Marsh goal. It was ball to the end line, pull back, tap it.
Joe, stop it.
The thing with that is,
what do you mean?
There's
Hey.
Wait there, go.
Go on, Joe, sorry.
No, I was going to say there's a thing about defending as well. If you're going to defend in a low block like that, you're told to defend with your back to the goal. And what Jack Harrison's not doing there is defending with his back to the goal. He's defending facing the goal. So what he should be doing is turning his body and dropping 5 yards deeper and having the game in front of him. So if it is squared, he can go and press the ball. But the other piece as well, and you're dead right in the second one, Forshaw and Harrison aren't the problem for me there. It should be a case that either Vobber steps on one or Rock is in there as well. He should be pushed on so Forshaw can step out one more. So somebody in there has just switched off.
It's taking responsibility, isn't it? And saying,
it's man for man, and someone
push
off.
You push on. I will mark this space and just learning where the threats are. But that's what Big Sam will be trying to do. He's only had 3 days and we tried to limit them as much as possible. And it is Man City. But like you say, that was a Jesse Marsh classic goal to concede and one we conceded under Gracia as well. So it's a known issue. But yeah, hopefully we address this soon.
Do you know, having watched it in real time, I just think either McKennie or Adam Forshaw needs to look over the shoulder and they see Gundogan coming.
Of course.
Yeah. They both just go towards, they both just get drawn in towards the box and the ball and don't have a look behind them. And it was the same against Bournemouth, exactly the same. McKennie gets drawn into the ball instead of seeing Thingy on back at on edge at box, or even when we're running in and Rasmus goes towards the ball instead of tracking Wilson, who Willian, who went out on the left, but.
Yeah, it's just talking to each other, isn't it?
Marking Mahrez, for God's sake, and giving him giving him that amount of space.
To be fair, that's all saying after, like we've just said, took for granted. Firpo's been absolutely done.
I blame Bamford.
He needs to do better as well.
The Firpo thing, though, confuses me because I've seen him do this year. There was a couple of the Crystal Palace goal that AU's header at the back post over Luke Ayling. Ayling got dog's abuse for online over getting beaten. But when you watch the replay, Firpo runs into the middle of the box for some reason, realizes he's not supposed to be in there, turns around and runs out. By the time he gets back out, the cross has gone in. So where he should have been, and you obviously identified he shouldn't be there. And again, with Mahrez, he kept doing the same thing. When they were breaking, he'd run into the center of the box and then go, shit, not supposed to be here, and then run back out. So every time Mahrez got the ball, Firpo was having to run 10 yards over to him because he'd gone in too narrow, which again, I think is a hangover from what's been behind us.
Yeah, and that's what Luke was saying before about the fact that we've had 3 managers. It's impressive that they have managed to change themselves up, but there is still lingering issues from previous managers, which happens when you don't have a pre-season. That's what happens, but it is something that we need to address.
Do we still have the bounce then Saturday? Do we still have that bounce? I'm sure we do.
2 or 3 games, I think.
I think the feeling's positive anyway after that City game. Man United went there and lost 6-3, conceded 6 there. We only conceded 2, and we had them panicking at the end. Guardiola was on the bench drinking his drink, like
holding the ball in the corner,
against little old Leeds.
Yeah,
Haaland and Brian are still on the park, and he's got Real Madrid in the middle of the week.
Yeah,
and he's like, I want to get these. I can't take them off. Yeah,
we had him worried.
Yeah, we did, man. We did. We've just had a late entry in from Kate as well for reasons for the weekend's loss. And she just sent us that. There you go. She didn't really. I just thought it was I just thought it was funny, but
I thought she'd actually sent you that. Then.
No,
she didn't. Believed it.
No, I didn't.
No. Right. So we've got a couple of draws, and I don't think anyone went for a win, did they, against Newcastle? Oh, Joe did 2-0, didn't
you? Yeah, did you?
Yeah. I'm not letting you forget that, mate. Don't let you forget that.
Two.
Yeah, 2. I'll take a draw as well. 0-0. Shithouse it. Let's move. Listen, tomorrow, I'm calling it Manic Monday. It's just another Manic Monday on the Just Joe Football Show from 2:45 right the way up till 10 p.m. Basically, will be watch along after watch along after watch along. So make sure you tune in, putting in the hard yards, the self-proclaimed hardest working man in the YouTube game, and the best Leeds United commentator around.
Max's face.
Do you know what, though? I was listening to that. Don't go to bed just yet. And I think that Kaiser Chief dude's on co-coms now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Simon Kaiser. I was like, well, if they could give it him, I mean, they should be giving me a shot, man. Come on, baby.
I want to see you and Max too. I want to see the cool and
what do you remember them ones on Sky Sports? Yeah. Fan Zone, that's it. Kate, what's going over on Leeds Birds Rants? A lot of ranting about
Leeds
Bamford,
Birds
no doubt.
breakfast back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We do it every weekends 9 o'clock. Monday to Friday 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's all go, man. It's great.
Yeah. So when you said tomorrow at 9 o'clock, you meant 8 o'clock?
No, I mean 9 o'clock. It's bank holiday, isn't it?
Oh, it's weekend.
Yeah, bank holiday. Lying, man.
lying. Luke, have you had a name change yet, mate?
To be honest, mate, I haven't got a fucking clue. I don't know what's been going on, mate.
You haven't, because they were in the chat before.
Yeah, no, that was me.
That was it. All right. Okay.
No, mate, you'll be fine.
No, I don't think there is. I don't have a clue.
I like the name.
Yeah, it's almost a bit patronising now, isn't it? I suppose. So it's quite but we'll see. But yeah, in terms of what's going on, we'll just have the normal show Tuesday night, 8:30, and then somebody, hopefully not me, was meant to be on after Newcastle at the weekend as well to do the Baradi and Coke.
Nice one, mate. Make sure you check them out. Link in the description. Max, what's going over on Leeds lately? Not much or a lot or what? Are you being...
well, there was the video from the other day about Big Sam's tactics and stuff, and it wasn't a lot of people saying about the different formations and stuff. I did it as a 4-4-2 because that is potentially what he'll play against the lesser teams, which we've only got 3 games left, but the principles are the more important thing. But if you want a little bit of an insight into, it's not just hoofball, but whether I think it'll work or not, then go and check that out. And then, yes, big game on.
We need another one before Saturday, Matt.
Saturday, mate. Saturday.
Then, yeah.
Joe?
Usual stuff, news each day during the week. I would like to thank Big Sam for my best YouTube week ever, because I did one video when he came in and I got 18,000 views. It's like that's the most I've ever had in any video by a mile.
Wow,
and I'm a lot. I'm less than 100 off 10k subscribers as well.
Bloody hell, Joe, you're flying, mate.
That's what happens when you upload, isn't it, Joe?
Yes.
I haven't uploaded it.
The days I really don't want it, but yeah, it's the last couple of weeks have been brilliant. So
and I'm 12 off 2,000.
Flying cake.
Yeah. 12 subscribers, guys.
Well, there's got to be 12 people in here that aren't subscribed to you, Kate. So please 12 years going over. Go help her get that big 2K tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you check everyone's daily content out, and make sure you check out podcasts as well. I want to know better. Rock Art Leeds that. Check everybody out, and thanks always for coming for the final word. We will be back next Sunday as the Big Sam era gets off to a big bang and we win a game of football. I'm sure of it. Thanks always for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, peeps. Bye.